Russia is a monolingual country and you can live perfectly well without English.
A big decision you must have to take on the initial stage, because you can face these kind of situations during your English journey as a teacher life.
Any topics which give some interesting and exciting information are the best for me.
What advice would you give to someone they are a beginner as a teacher?
I consider myself a very lucky person because teaching is not only my profession, but it's my hobby.
Hello guys, and this is me Abubakar. So once again, I'm here with my special guest from Russia. For a long time, she gave me a chance because she's so busy in his life, and especially on the Zoom meetings, and she hosts a lot of meetings. So finally, she joined us. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Abubakar. Thanks for inviting me. And let me introduce myself for those who see me for the first time. I'm Victoria from Russia, and I'm considered to be a ESL teacher. And except teaching, I like to volunteer for different communities and to widespread my learning and teaching experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, because I watch your lot of videos, or especially your meetings, I watch your, and 2 or 3 times I attend your meeting also. That's amazing experience, bro. Okay, so let's move to first question. So how long you have been as an English teacher?
Well, I've been teaching for about 10 years. And if you ask what grade do I usually teach? Well, here in Russia, we are universal teachers. I mean that we teach children and adults from the age of 7 when they come to primary school and up to high school. And sometimes I help with learning to my adult friends. Yes, and so I teach all grades and all ages.
Could you describe it this just the school level, especially the high school level? Because in every country have a different timetables or different schedules timing. Like in our country, primary school is just for the 1 from 5 class, and then high school or middle school, something like that. So in a high school, definitely after 10 class, it's called high school, 2 years. First year or second year. So how about the Russian?
So the key reason why Russian ESL teacher is, so to say, universal teacher is that all stages, all grades of schooling are located in one building. So teacher can teach primary and secondary and high levels being in the same building. So we don't move from one part of the city to another, from one grade to another. So some people say that it's difficult to teach at the same time at primary and high school, but that's our features of being a teacher in Russia. So for me, it's not a problem at all.
I think this is really amazing because in one building you can communicate with the youngster or the adults and the high level, like university students also. This is an amazing experience for you. But in our country, especially in Asia, I think in India also, for the primary level, it's a specific school. And the teacher is like it's a different teacher. And for the middle school, like 6 to 8 class, that 3 or 2 classes, this is another school. And then 9, 10, 11, 12, this is another school for them. And after the 12, definitely you must have to university level. So all these structures are totally changed, and they have different building, different teachers, different structures, different books. So this is, I think, really tough for the students. All these phrases, they spend time.
But the advantage of being a teacher in all grades is that you can understand what skills will be important in the future for this or that. For example, when a person just becomes a teacher, he's unskilled, unexperienced, and sometimes he makes or she makes some mistakes in teaching. But when he teaches the same group of children from primary to secondary and then to high school, he understands the methods, he understands individual approaches, and he understands what exactly skills will be necessary in the future for students. So we are like mothers. We understand demands of modern society to foreign languages, and leading children from 7 years old age up to 17 is really great. That gives more opportunities to understand, to adjust your experience and skills to the successful gaining knowledge of students.
I totally agree with you. Let's move to another question. So, what do you enjoy the most about being a ELC teacher?
Okay, if you ask about personal qualities of a teacher, well, I could say that patience, dedication, and being flexible, and of course, love the process of teaching. Because sometimes, although you have a flexible schedule, and perhaps sometimes you have a short working day, sometimes you have to stay overtime and devote your time to self-developing, and to some students who have problems with the learning, and so on and so on. So various kinds of skills makes teaching very attractive for me, but not for all people who are going to be teachers. Perhaps sometimes future teachers who are now students in training see only the upper part of iceberg, and they don't understand that the result of it is just a lot of industrious work over yourself, mostly.
Well, you tell me like you are a teacher for the all ages, but sometimes sometimes we prefer some age of group. So which age group is like more you like when you teach them?
Well, actually, I'm not into teaching primary school students much. Yes, because I definitely understand that teaching primary school students and high school students is much difference. But still, to understand what exactly you can teach this other student, you should pass a primary school teaching. So for me, secondary school is the best. Yes, because in our school, in our grammar school, students are divided into sets in the high school. So some students choose advanced level of English course, and some prefer basic. Yes, and sometimes it's not easy to make students to study, to follow the course they have chosen. But with secondary school, when basic skills are formed, it's things are much easier. Yeah, and the topics I like to study new vocabulary with secondary school students, and some grammar patterns, and children in secondary school, although they're teenagers, they're really motivated and flexible, and still ready to accept something new. Yeah, so
Amazing.
I enjoy second.
Well, next question is like this is really common. You know, most of the time I receive from different people. I'm not a teacher. It's like, what do you think for the basic level? Like someone they were learning the English language from the grassroots. So what do you think? Which thing is like is the best for them? Like grammar, or just start a conversations behalf of vocabulary? They build the vocabulary, or they focus on the grammar also. So what do you think?
Well, I think speaking English is like a human body. I always say that grammar is bones, skeleton. Yes, and as for muscles, it's about vocabulary. So I think that bones can't move without muscles, and muscles can't move without bones. Yeah, so we can't learn it separately. And as far as we learn the vocabulary, we should improve our grammar, because sometimes adults face such a problem. They gained pretty good vocabulary, but they're still in school grammar. So yeah, using school grammar with very rich vocabulary, and it really sounds a bit funny for us teachers, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it means that they need to improve. I mean, adult learners need to improve their grammar to use their advanced vocabulary. So I try to focus on this problem of advanced vocabulary and improve grammar up to advanced 2. So there is no one can separate, and as soon as you are teaching, you should to adopt levels of vocabulary and grammar at the same time,
Yeah.
mentioning, keeping in mind the level of students too.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you, But in school level, sometimes the students just focus on the communication. They didn't build his vocabulary time to time. When they face some critical situation in his life, so that time they totally stuck and they didn't understand the question in the right way. And the grammar is really essential, I know. But if you are good in English, so after that you must have to be work on your grammar also. Like if I'm talking with someone, I never focus on the grammar because in school level, definitely our teachers or the principals, especially, they focus on the grammar. But that time, I don't know why we are like totally bland when they focus on the grammar, and we just avoid the grammar. But when we enter our professional life, like somewhere we are doing a job, so that time we are facing a lot of issues, and we are stuck sometime because in professional environment, definitely you must have to focus on your grammar and talk with someone in professional way. This is not like every time you just talk with someone like casually or just communicate with someone in English and just go ahead. Like this is a little bit tough, I think. Yeah, thank you so much. You described this topic in very easy way. Okay, so let's move to another question. So what do you have a favorite English lesson or topic like when you teach someone?
Mhm. Well, I like topics which help to get some new knowledge and help to widen world outlook, kind of history, politics, and festivals, any topics which give some interesting and exciting information are the best for me. So sometimes I like to communicate and talk and teach topics on social issues. Yeah, and so
And
all topics are okay for me. I'm
okay,
sorry, there's now some special. Yes.
another question mine is related definitely with this your topic selections. Like I watch a lot of videos, especially on YouTube, International Cafe, WhatsApp, especially your meetings. So there you have different content and different material you get that. I don't know from where you get that because there's a real unique and a lot of information from there I get when I watch your meetings and interviews. Your material that's really amazing. So from where you get that?
Well, the success of my meeting is inspiration. I got inspiration from my students. So if we have a constant team, I usually think of what interesting things we can learn together. Sometimes, for example, when we read this or that chapter, we meet some interesting word or perhaps some interesting pattern or some interesting fact, and I start to interested in it and just to look for information in YouTube or any other resources and just include it. Yes, and with my method skills and teaching methods all together, I just boiling it, yeah, in brackets, boiling it all together, and then that's how we get a very delicious dish. Yes, but in fact, reading meetings began just as for reading and speaking. Yeah, but step by step, students, our super readers, asked me questions about this or that word, and that's how the idea of giving some additional information on some interesting fact according to the book appeared. So my team, our super readers, inspire me a lot. They help me to move on, to develop our meetings, and to make them more informative and educational.
I remember, one time when I attend your meeting, so there I think you share before meetings some material and they watch that material or they read down before, and during the meeting you ask several questions, or you give a chance to read down, or sometime you focus on the different students communications or his speaking way, how they pronounce this word. So this is amazing idea. So okay, let's move to the next question. So what is mostly challenging questions, especially for the teachers in Russia?
Well, I think the most challenging thing about
Yeah.
teaching English in
Mhm.
Russia is that Russia is a monolingual country and you can live perfectly well without English. And many students and parents understand it. For example, especially if your city or town is far from borders, they don't need English in their everyday life. So it's English is becoming an artificial language which students don't use in their everyday life. So it's pretty difficult to explain that we need to learn languages not only because we are going to use them in life, but that this skill is very developing our brains. It's like playing musical instrument. We are not going to be great musicians, but still some students like to go in for music lessons also. So, for example, if you lived in our city, you wouldn't need English at all because a baker here doesn't need English and a doctor doesn't need English. So it's a bit difficult. But I always tell my students that if you are going to have just bread in your life, yes, we understand bread, yes, and okay, you may just learn English just from time to time, from class to class, without focusing deeply into structures and so on. But if you want to have some butter on your bread, okay, start learning English deeply. Yeah, make it everyday activity. But if you want to have some caviar on your bread and butter, perhaps you should start learning some Eastern languages, which are very popular nowadays. Because when I was younger, English was a benefit. Nowadays, English is a must, and some of Eastern languages has a benefit. So times and the relations or treatment to learning foreign languages is also changing. And visiting these meetings with International Cafe helped me to understand how world changed. And I always tell students about the things, about knowledges. I share my knowledges, which I got here in International Cafe meetings with my students. And they say that it's really interesting because they don't see how to use their knowledge of English in their everyday life, but listening to me and listening to my stories about International English Cafe activities, they understand, oh, the world around different they imagined. And I think, okay, I achieved my game. I managed to change, to make them change their old skin and to widen their world outlook.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Yeah, definitely. In the Zoom meeting, there's several people from different countries. This is the way, and we can communicate it all towards just only a one language. Definitely, I totally agree with you. Okay, let's move to our next question. So, how do your students react to learning English language?
Well, as I already mentioned, that it depends on their goals. So, as for primary school students, they are the most motivated students. Yes, because perhaps I'm not so strict. That's the first reason. We don't give much homework at primary school because we focus on activities in class. Yes, so as for secondary school students, they're a bit puzzled because they want to use English not only in class, and they're looking for some language environment if they become interested and if they are going state English exam. Yes, so it depends on the student if he is interested, if he caught this illness, so to say, not illness, just of learning languages. Yes, I think that it's just a being. Yeah, you can't.
Mm,
It's like eating. It's like sleeping. Learning English
mm,
is the same. If you maybe either breathe with it or you just take another route. Yeah, take
yeah,
another way. Now it depends on the student and it depends on his or her goals, life
yeah.
goals, of course.
Exactly. So, okay. So, well, as a teacher, this is not easy. You can motivate yourself for all the time. So, what's your specific activities to stay motivated for the students to teach English?
Well, teaching is my lifestyle,
Mhm.
and I don't need to sleep. I don't need to be motivated to eat, and the same is about
So,
teaching
this is your
because
profession.
it brings.
This is your passion. So, definitely,
Uh,
you don't need a motivation to teach someone English.
I consider myself a very lucky person because teaching is not only my profession, but it's my hobby.
This is
Teaching and learning,
amazing.
they have their two sides of the same coin. And
I
even when I'm
I,
learning,
I totally agree with you because I think the luckiest person is the word is that they have same professions, they love it, and the same time they perform his full day on that profession. So because you will never be tired and that profession because you love that. So teaching is your hobby, and as a profession is your teacher. So definitely, this is really amazing for you. You never be tired and you never be lazy when you spend more than 6 or 8 hours continuously.
yes, I think that it's really great that when your brains and heart are united concerning your job, activities, and still learning. Learning helps me a lot to stay motivated as a teacher because I'm learning Chinese.
Mm.
Yes, and learning Chinese helped
Wow.
me to improve firstly teaching skills. So I'm learning, but I'm also teaching. Yeah, because being a student of a second foreign language helps you to understand beginners of learning language journey. And
Exactly.
yeah, so
Okay.
I
So,
don't need to be motivated and inspired
mhm,
to go on learning and teaching.
mhm. Okay. Let's move to the last question. This is my last question for you. So, what's your advice? What advice would you give to someone they are a beginner as a teacher?
As a teacher. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you don't like children,
Mhm.
step aside. If you don't like to be among big number of people, step
Mhm.
aside.
Mhm. A big decision you
Mhm.
must have to take on the initial stage because you can face these kind of situations during your English journey as a teacher life. If you don't like the kids or you don't like the public, lot of people's, you didn't communicate with the people's the front of you. So definitely you must have to quit an initial stage from the teaching career because you face these kind
Mhm.
of things definitely in your life.
Being a teacher is not for introverted people.
Mm.
If you don't feel charged from the crowd,
Mm.
not for you because teaching is a two-way process. You listen to students and you get inspiration on the very second you're listening to them. Yes, and their fails inspire you to move on or change approaches. Their success will give you wings to go on
Yeah,
and improve even more.
exactly. Okay, thank you so much, Victoria, for your this amazing conversations for this interview, and that's really interesting for me. And definitely, I've learned a lot of things from this. And when I upload that, definitely amazing feedback I'm expecting for the different peoples. And thank you so much once again for your time. So we have a few
Uh,
minutes. Do you want to say something?
I'd like to say thank you to you, Abu Bakar, for inviting me, for letting me share my teaching and learning experience. I hope it will be useful for someone. Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. And thank you so much once again. Bye bye from my side.